Hi everyone, #1 Marmaduke fan here. I am continuing to go through the Darkwing Duck comics I bought a while ago. I sadly wasn't able to get every issue, but they're good standalone stories. This one unfortunately ends on a cliffhanger, but I have the part 8, so fear not, we'll get to see the end of this tale. What I really dig about issue 7 is I've given this series lukewarm praise. I've said, hey, if you're a Darkwing Duck fan, you'll like this, go check it out. And in issue 7, this is consistently good. So it's not just like a good issue 1 and 2, and then bleh, it gets lame after that. 7's my favorite so far, and I'm seeing in it Sparrow and Silvani are coming into their own. I think this is some of Silvani's best art, where I've said in some of the early issues it felt a little stiff or a little copy-pasted from the show to my eye. I thought that his art was generally strong throughout this issue, sort of that fluid Disney style. And Sparrow, wow, he gets these characters, and especially in his notes on this stuff, he reminds me of Don Rosa, where the appeal of Don Rosa's Duck comics is his absolutely infectious enthusiasm for the Carl Barks Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck comics. And because Don Rosa loved those comics so much, he was able to tell continuations or spins on Carl Barks stories and sell them because he knew what made those stories work, and he loved them so much he was able to continue them in a way where it appealed to fans of the original. So what Sparrow's showing in this issue is so much love for the Darkwing Duck show that he's able to actually take. I didn't care much about Bushroot. I didn't give him much of a second thought. But Sparrow loves Bushroot, and when he just writes about what appealed to him about Bushroot, I nodded and say, yeah, that makes sense. It makes this character more interesting to me if I go back and watch the series again, seeing Sparrow's enthusiasm for the story. And it's allowed him to tell a narrative which, this is just solid. Get this for a kid. Try to find it at a local comic book shop. Try to get the trade paperback. I want them to come out with the digital comics for this series eventually. But oh, by the way, this is the 2016 series. There was apparently a 2015 series, which makes the numbering weird. So you just got to go on the covers, I guess. So this is spinning off a Bushroot episode like Night of the Living Couch Potato or something that was a Halloween-themed episode. This one also has a very Halloween theme to it, and I like that it's appropriate for kids while also evoking successfully kind of scary ideas where a kid could get invested in this as a scary story for Darkwing Duck. So it opens with this weasel acting as our omniscient narrator who's got some great sort of purple prose introduction to the horrors that await our protagonists. And I love little things like this. Honker goes to Halloween dressed up as a cowboy, and Goslin goes up dressed as a horrible, like, melting ghoul monstrosity that's so freaky she grosses out the parents and they just give her all the candy. And Darkwing and Goslin have had a competition to see who gets the most candy. And I like this. He shows up and a kid says, "It's Duck Avenger, my boy." Sparrow loves these comics. He loves these characters. He knows how to make cool connections with this kind of stuff. And then as they're examining their candy, they do a bit on the Charlie Brown Halloween special. But look at this. I got a corn syrup bar. I got a Kirby Crackle bar. I got a potato. That Kirby Crackle thing, I'm going to try this. Trigger warning for a slow clap. If you're a comics fan, you know. That was great. So it all turns out to be a dream. And in a splash page, Darkwing wakes up and he goes to investigate. Cool blue, cool blue, cool blue, cool blue. Man, try saying that 5 times fast. Red, danger. And once again, they're hitting all the good beats on who Darkwing Duck is as a character. He's a befuddled dad with an adopted daughter. And Goslin, his adopted daughter, is a Spitfire loaded pistol hot ticket. Any word for tomboy you want, that's Goslin Waddlemeyer. And he says no hockey in the living room. So just through verbal cues, we're getting an idea if this is your first Darkwing Duck story of who Goslin is and who Darkwing is. So the setup, then danger, and then all these zombie potatoes attack him and tie him up and almost kill him. And then Goslin and Launchpad show up. I think they're referencing something, but I'm not sure what. and save the day. And I like this thing where Darkwing assumes that the potatoes wrecked his house, and then Goslin sort of scooches her hockey gear behind the couch to hide it from Dad. Great stuff. So off they go to visit the Muddlefoots, and the Muddlefoots are sort of like these terribly boring neighbors that Darkwing Duck hates being around them, and it's great because they always get his goat. And at the party, they see all of these facehugger potatoes have turned all these people into zombies. At my boy, Aliens Fan Zero, this is just a neat little example of the Aliens franchise showing up in a parody. But what I liked about this is scary for a child, even if they haven't seen the Alien or the Aliens movies. This was weird. There's some wonky perspective here where it looks like this was supposed to be a porch floating above the ground, and it ended up being like cement flush with the ground. But that was the only panel I got OCD about for this whole book. Generally, I think that in this one, Silvani is giving these characters a lot of life and the bounce and the action line, the energy from the TV show. Darkwing Duck is a overly dramatic character who always is kind of seeing himself as he's on a stage performing for everybody. And he reads as that throughout these books. He's a visually comedic character. He's funny to look at. A child who can't read could understand what's going on here and think this guy is funny. Yes, this is good comics. I think this is a Blade reference, but I don't know because, confession time, I haven't seen the Blade movies yet. I was just too young when they came out the first time, and I just haven't found the time to sit down and watch them since being an adult and being old enough to watch a R-rated movie. But the Muddlefoots save the day, and Darkwing is convinced that Bushroot must be behind this. They go to investigate Bushroot, and I'm just going to skip ahead because they think they found the source of all the zombie potatoes. And Bushroot persuades them that he wants to join them because he wants to save his zombie potato bride. They do some sort of hijinks getting past the security guards. And then they find the secret laboratory where this experimentation is being done. There's this great little break in the action for an interaction between Goslin and Launchpad, where they both talk about how they would like to fulfill the role of Darkwing Duck and take over for him when he retires. And Goslin, this is such a little kid thing. She suggests that when she's Darkwing Duck, Launchpad can be her sidekick, and Launchpad loves this idea. Job security. Yes, this is like something a little Spitfire kid would do. These aren't childless weirdos writing this. These are people who know how kids act, the things they do with body language, how they get excited, the kinds of ideas they suggest, how they're a little bit selfish still at that age. Yes. Oh, I love this so much. And Bushroot and Darkwing discover that the evil's mother zombie potato has been hooked up to a machine, and that she's being used to feed all of these little zombie potatoes. And then this character, who I dimly remembered, and it helped me when I reread Sparrow's notes on this story, but this is a guy who was instrumental in Bushroot's origin. So they're bringing back characters who were important in the show, where it'd be interesting to see them again. And yeah, so pretty much this guy helped drive Bushroot to becoming the villainous Bushroot. And it hints that Gizmo Duck is coming back, which is sweet because Gizmo Duck is a fan favorite from the DuckTales TV show. He got to make an appearance in Darkwing Duck, but I think it was only the one appearance. So this is some fan service. They're bringing Gizmo Duck back for an adventure with Darkwing. They publish a bunch of letters, and this was just where Sparrow sold me on his passion, because this reminded me of the original episode I could go watch to see these characters and him talking about how Bushroot is essentially sort of a take on the tragic Batman villain, where they were well-intentioned, but then they're turned into a monster and they're sympathetic because of that. It's sort of like Heart of Ice in the Batman animated TV series, where Dr. Freeze is turned into a monster in a horrible accident, and he actually cares about his wife. Bushroot wants to be accepted by society, and he's a social outcast even before he becomes a tree-themed monster. So one of my least favorite characters from the Darkwing Duck TV series. I'm now interested to go back and rewatch that episode based on Sparrow's passion and how he connects what came before to what he's writing now. He cares about what came before. Yes! Fantastic. And there's some, I forgot to show this last time, but there are great character profiles of all the villains, you know, some top secret files. In the digital comics I've seen of previous releases from Joe Books, they seem pretty stripped down. It's just the stories and none of this cool extra stuff. So go get the floppies if you can find them at your local comic book store. I dig it. This was my favorite issue of this run so far. I'm sad it's gone away, but 100% I'm going to support all of Sparrow's comics, Sparrow and Silvani's Darkwing Ducks comics that they've done, and I'm definitely going to be doing some more Darkwing Ducks comics. So I'm doing the iPhone videos of these because I can't find them digitally anywhere. But I have found a lot of old Darkwing Duck comics digitally on Google Play and Comixology. So I think I'm going to do some actually professional podcasts, walking through those stories, telling you a bit of the story, highlighting some of the great artistic moments, some of the weak artistic moments. And I'm going to keep talking about good storytelling, connecting with your audience. Fantastic. Sparrow, I'm sorry this didn't sell better. I'm sorry I discovered it so late, but good on you. This was a great comic. Love it. Catch you later, guys. I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. Whoopsie. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for more notifications. And there's going to be some My Hero Academia coming, because the people have spoken that... I'm sorry I haven't gotten to it yet, but I want to actually read My Hero Academia and make sure I actually have some good thoughts on it before I just splurge out a bunch of videos on it. But also more Darkwing Duck comics coming. Love you guys. Catch you later.